The story of Russia, as we know it today, begins in the 9th century, a time of great migrations and cultural transformations across Europe and Asia. The year is 862 AD, a pivotal moment in the annals of Eastern European history. A Viking chieftain named Rurik, hailing from the Scandinavian lands, establishes his rule over the Slavic tribes in the region of Novgorod, laying the foundation for a new political entity. This event marks the traditional founding of the Kievan Rus, a loose federation of Slavic and Finnic peoples united under the leadership of the Varangian rulers. The Kievan Rus flourished as a vital trade route between Scandinavia and the Byzantine Empire, facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures. Its heart was Kiev, a bustling city strategically positioned on the Dnieper River, which became a major hub for commerce and culture. It was under Prince Vladimir the Great in 988 that the course of the nation changed forever, as he sought to unify his people under a single faith. He adopted Orthodox Christianity as the official religion of the Kievan Rus, a decision that would shape the spiritual and cultural landscape of the region for centuries to come. This decision had a profound and lasting impact on the cultural and religious identity of the East Slavic peoples, intertwining their fate with that of the Byzantine Empire. The adoption of the Cyrillic script, developed by Byzantine missionaries, fostered literacy and facilitated the spread of religious texts, enabling the Kievan Rus to become a center of learning and culture. This cultural exchange with Byzantium left an indelible mark on art, architecture, and political thought in the Kievan Rus, influencing everything from church designs to governance. The magnificent cathedrals of Kiev, adorned with intricate mosaics and frescoes, stand as testaments to this enduring legacy, showcasing the blend of Byzantine and Slavic artistry. However, the Kievan Rus was not destined to last. Despite its cultural and economic achievements, it faced significant challenges. Internal disputes and external pressures eventually led to its fragmentation, paving the way for the rise of new powers in the region and the eventual emergence of the Russian state. The 13th century brought a new threat to the East Slavic lands, the Mongol Empire. Genghis Khan's Mongol hordes swept across Eurasia, conquering vast territories. In 1240, the Mongols, under the leadership of Batu Khan, sacked Kiev and subjugated the fragmented principalities of the Kievan Rus. This brutal conquest ushered in a period known as the Mongol Yoke. The Mongols ruled over the Rus' principalities for over 2 centuries. They demanded tribute and exerted significant political control. However, the Mongol rule was not without its benefits. The Mongols encouraged trade and connected the Rus' lands to the vast Mongol Empire, spanning from China to Eastern Europe. Amidst the Mongol domination, a new power began to rise in the northeast, the Grand Duchy of Moscow. The princes of Moscow skillfully navigated the intricacies of Mongol politics, gaining favor and consolidating their power. They collected tribute on behalf of the Mongols, expanding their influence and territory. By the late 15th century, Moscow emerged as the dominant power among the Rus' principalities, ready to cast off the shackles of Mongol rule. The stage was set for the rise of a unified Russian state. In 1547, a pivotal moment arrived in Russian history. Ivan IV, the Grand Prince of Moscow, took the momentous step of crowning himself Tsar of all Rus. This act marked the formal establishment of the Tsardom of Russia, with Moscow as its capital. Ivan IV, known to history as Ivan the Terrible, was a formidable and ruthless ruler. He was determined to consolidate his power and expand the realm he inherited. Ivan IV's reign was marked by both significant achievements and brutal repression. He implemented ambitious reforms, centralizing government administration and establishing a new legal code. He also sought to expand Russia's borders, conquering the Khanates of Kazan and Astrakhan, thus securing control over the Volga River and opening up the way for expansion into Siberia. However, Ivan's reign was also marred by periods of extreme paranoia and brutality. He unleashed the Oprichnina, a period of state terror targeting suspected enemies, real or imagined. This era saw mass executions, confiscations of land, and widespread fear. Despite the horrors of the Oprichnina, Ivan IV left an enduring legacy. He transformed Russia from a medieval collection of principalities into a powerful, centralized state poised for further expansion. Section 4. Imperial Ambitions, from Peter to Catherine. The 18th century witnessed the rise of Russia as a major European power under the reigns of two remarkable monarchs, Peter the Great and Catherine the Great. Their combined efforts laid the foundation for the Russian Empire, which would go on to play a crucial role in European and global affairs for centuries to come. Peter I, who ruled from 1682 to 1725, was a visionary leader determined to modernize Russia and establish it as a force to be reckoned with on the European stage. His reign marked a significant turning point in Russian history, as he sought to transform the country from a relatively isolated and backward state into a modern, powerful nation. He embarked on a series of ambitious reforms known as the Westernization of Russia. These reforms touched nearly every aspect of Russian life, from the military and government to culture and society. Peter's vision was to align Russia more closely with the advanced nations of Western Europe, and he pursued this goal with relentless determination. He reorganized the army, built a new capital at St. Petersburg, his window to the west, and introduced Western European customs and fashions to the Russian elite. St. Petersburg quickly became a symbol of Peter's ambitions, showcasing the architectural and cultural influences he sought to bring to Russia. Peter's reforms, though often brutal and unpopular, transformed Russia into a major military power. His efforts to modernize the army and navy were particularly significant, as they enabled Russia to compete with the leading European powers of the time. He defeated Sweden in the Great Northern War, securing access to the Baltic Sea and establishing Russia as a dominant force in the region. This victory not only expanded Russia's territory, but also enhanced its strategic position in Northern Europe. Catherine the Great, who reigned from 1762 to 1796, continued Peter's legacy of expansion and modernization. Her reign is often considered a golden age for Russia, as she pursued policies that further strengthened the empire and promoted cultural and intellectual growth. She was a shrewd diplomat and a patron of the arts and sciences. Catherine's court became a center of Enlightenment thought, attracting some of the greatest minds of the era. Her support for education, the arts and sciences helped to elevate Russia's cultural standing on the world stage. Catherine oversaw a golden age of Russian culture and further expanded Russia's territory, annexing Crimea and parts of Poland. Her military campaigns and diplomatic efforts significantly increased the size and influence of the Russian Empire. The reigns of Peter and Catherine marked the era of the Russian Empire. Their combined efforts in military, political, and cultural spheres laid the groundwork for Russia's emergence as a major global power. They transformed Russia into a vast, multi-ethnic empire stretching from the Baltic Sea to the Pacific Ocean, a major player in European politics and beyond. The legacies of Peter and Catherine continue to shape Russia's identity and its role in the world to this day. Section 5, Revolution and the Rise of the Soviet Union. The 20th century ushered in a period of immense upheaval and transformation for Russia. The country, vast and diverse, was on the brink of monumental change. The old ways of the Tsarist regime were increasingly seen as outdated and oppressive by a growing number of Russians. World War I proved disastrous for the Russian Empire, exposing the weaknesses of the Tsarist regime and exacerbating social and economic tensions. The war effort drained resources and morale, leading to widespread discontent among soldiers and civilians alike. In 1917, these simmering tensions erupted into revolution. The streets of Petrograd and other cities were filled with protests and strikes, as people demanded change and an end to the war. The February Revolution toppled the Tsarist regime, and the Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, seized power in the October Revolution. This marked a dramatic shift in Russian politics and society, as the Bolsheviks aimed to create a socialist state. The Bolsheviks, a radical Marxist faction, promised peace, land and bread to the war-weary and impoverished masses. Their slogans resonated deeply with the suffering population, who were desperate for relief and a new direction. They signed the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with Germany, ending Russia's involvement in World War I, but at a heavy cost, the loss of vast territories. This decision was controversial but necessary to consolidate Bolshevik power. A brutal civil war erupted between the Bolsheviks, Reds, and their opponents, Whites, who sought to restore the monarchy. The conflict was marked by extreme violence and hardship, as both sides fought for control of the future of Russia. The Bolsheviks emerged victorious, establishing the world's first communist state, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR, or the Soviet Union. This new state aimed to build a classless society based on Marxist principles. Lenin's successor, Joseph Stalin, consolidated power and implemented a brutal totalitarian regime. Stalin's rule was characterized by intense political repression and a cult of personality. He enforced collectivization of agriculture, leading to widespread famine, and launched a series of purges that eliminated his opponents, real or imagined. These purges decimated the ranks of the Communist Party and instilled fear throughout the country. Millions perished during this period of terror, but Stalin's industrialization drive transformed the Soviet Union into a major industrial power. The rapid industrial growth came at a tremendous human cost, but it also laid the foundation for the Soviet Union's emergence as a global superpower.